Welcome back to our Sword and Musket channel, where we look at, discuss, and marvel over weapons and uh, firearms, antiques, etc. from the past. I'm going to have a look at another revolver today, which in my opinion just seems to be a little bit too nicely made to be a military revolver, but it in fact was. And maybe that's a testament to Smith and Wesson's fine manufacturing skills, or the quality of American manufacturing in the World War One period. So once again, this is a particular caliber which is permitted to be collected and retained as part of a historical collection for educational knowledge gathering purposes. So what we're looking at today, and I'll turn you on your side in a moment, is the Smith & Wesson Model 1917 Mark II second model hand ejector, chambered in 455 for the British government and made between 1915 and 1917. So I'll don the sacred not very white gloves, and what lurks beneath this mucky old cloth is a rather nice Smith & Wesson, as I said, model 1917, second model hand ejector. So first thing we're going to do is check that it's safe. So we can open the cylinder, swing out cylinder, spin it, see that it's empty, and that the barrel is also. So the weapon is entirely safe. Close it back up again. Now, this weapon was developed by Smith & Wesson. It's got a lot of very strong Smith & Wesson traits, but also with the help of the Springfield Armory to speed up production and development. Chambered in 455 British Eley cartridge, it is not actually marked so anywhere on the revolver, which is not overly helpful. So all the positions, all the places where you might normally see those markings, they are in fact absent, which I find quite strange. There are no British proof marks on it afterwards either. There are no WD acceptance marks on it. So whether it was not sent or part of a privately sold batch, I don't know. Further investigation into Smith & Wesson records would have to be undertaken. Anyway, let's look at what we have got here, not what we haven't got. On the barrel, nice and clearly marked, Smith & Wesson. On the top of the barrel is the address and a list of the patent dates. Very, very small. You definitely need glasses to be able to see that. On the side of the solid frame is the Thew Monogram design here, and also pressed into the grips in a little brass plug medallion that shows the entwined S&W logo. So to open this weapon, you press that forward, push cylinder out sideways, cylinder release on there. To then empty out the shells, you would then raise the ejector by hand. Once again, spring loaded, comes back very quickly, virtually leaves the empty cases hanging in thin air. So it was called the hand ejector. Sometimes it picks up the misnomer of the triple lock, because this actual British specification model doesn't have 3 locking components to keep the cylinder in position. It only has 2. So although it's commonly known as a triple lock, in collector's terms, it is not in fact. One of the locking devices is here in the center of the spindle, and that slides in across the back of the revolver and locks in a, once again, sprung hole. Then at the front, underneath the barrel, is another sprung lug, tail ends here, which the ejecting arm has a recess for. So both ends of the central spindle of the revolver are held into position. Obviously finished in blue, military, but very finely finished. It's quite a glossy finish. A little bit of wear here and there, a few high edges. Very little wear on the inside of the strap, grip strap for the grips, and only a nominal amount of wear on the back. So one starts to think that it may not have been issued. Components that are not case color blued are case color hardened. That is the hammer and the trigger. They are case color hardened. Check them and to make them hard enough. Anyway, it's double action, so you can get 6 shots off pretty quickly. Or if you're going to take a longer shot or more considered shot, it will operate on single action. So you can pull back that hammer and fire away after taking your more considered shot. Half moon front sight and the grooved upper frame with a narrowing at the back for finer aiming point. Long flutes in the cylinder. You got a little bit of a drag mark from each of these locking dips. What's quite amusing, I suppose, about this revolver is that every time, if you just catch a glance across this back shoulder flash guard, it gives you the impression that it's become horribly bent. Somebody has jammed something in there in an effort to open it. But in fact, that is all part of the design. That is to allow this sprung locking lug to slide in past the shield in this dip. There it is. and then eventually be completely compressed to be in position and pop back out when the cylinder reaches the center and locks it into position. So quite an intricate design, but a robust build and a high finish. Beautiful checkered walnut grips with the border engraved cross hatching. Really, and oh yes, the lanyard ring, the all important lanyard ring, which I can't pull down with these gloves on. There we go. So if you drop it or it falls out of its holster while you're running, it stays attached to you on the end of a cord or leather string. A very functional weapon. This one, I mean, they made just short of 70,000 of these. It's not a massive number in this caliber. And this one's number is found on the underneath of the barrel. There's a flat under there, and also repeated on the back of the cylinder, but it's very fine, very small stampings. It's all in one segment, even though it is a 5-digit number. So there we have it, the S&W Model 17, issued British officers in World War I to help make up the shortfall of weapons which needed to be produced in the general war effort. But a rather clean example. There's a little bit of pitting in the bore, but that's not really surprising. Oh, the serial number is also repeated on the underside, flat base of the strap, the grip strap. There you go. So, pretty gun. I wouldn't want to get it dirty. I almost feel I'd rather go for the Colt. It was a bit chunkier. But 455, it's a big, heavy round, and probably not much arguing done after being hit by one of them. So a little bit more war material help from America to the UK or Great Britain in World War I in the form of S&W Model 17. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. Any comments or interesting stories about people's grandfather and how they took out a German machine gun simply with their revolver and sword, greatly would be appreciated. But a relic from a time where everybody had to stand up and do their bit. Please click like or subscribe to the channel. Pick up more interesting stories as and when they come out. Thanks for watching.